Hey, brothers and sisters, thanks for joining me again. Hey, today I came across a story in The Guardian that I thought was interesting, and it's all about energy drinks and their harms for children. So let's read this because, we got to take care of the children, right? No place in children's hands. Under 16s in England to be banned from buying energy drinks. Okay, so fair enough. Let's read about this. I am okay with banning children from doing certain activities or having certain products. I think it really should be up to the parents more than anything, but I am okay with the government mandating some of it. And 16, okay. For me, most things should be banned up until the age of majority, I think. And then after that you can do what you like, as long as it's, kind of a legal product. So let's see what this is all about. Government to ban the sale of energy drinks with more than 150 milligrams of caffeine, citing concerns over obesity and lack of concentration. I drink a ton of Celsius. That's my preferred one. I like Bloom too, and I think they all have at least 200 milligrams of. And to be fair, I drink 2 or 3 of those every day. I know I'm bad. They don't cause obesity because they're low calorie. The ones I drink, but perhaps there's other ones out there that are high calorie. But the ones I drink are only like 10, 15 calories. So it's an alternative to a diet fizzy drink. But okay, so there's concerns about obesity and lack of concentration. Lack of concentration, maybe caffeine could cause that, I guess. I'm not a doctor. Let's see. Under 16s in England will be banned from buying energy drinks such as Red Bull and Monster because they fuel obesity, cause sleep problems, and leave them unable to concentrate. Health experts, teaching unions, and dentists welcome the ban and said it would boost children and young people's health. It fulfills a pledge Labor included in its manifesto for last year's general election. Okay, I like that. I like it when the government does things they said they would do. Because most of the time, to me, it seems like they don't. But tell me if I'm wrong about that. Maybe that's just an American thing, and the British government always does what they say they're going to do. So yeah, let me know in the comments. How can we expect children to do as well at school if they have the equivalent of a double espresso in their system on a daily basis, said Wes Streeting, the health secretary. Energy drinks might seem harmless, but the sleep, concentration, and well-being of today's kids are all being impacted, while high sugar versions damage their teeth and contribute to obesity. Okay, so yeah. I see it. I see where it's going. Shop, cafes, restaurants, and websites will be prohibited from selling energy drinks containing more than 150 milligrams of caffeine per liter to anyone under 16. That will affect drinks such as Red Bull, Monster, Relentless, and Prime Energy and force their makers to reformulate their products. For example, a 250 milliliter can of Red Bull contains 80 milligrams of caffeine, the same as one espresso or 2 cans of cola. Tea, coffee, soft drinks containing lower amounts of caffeine will be unaffected. Okay, I see a problem with this now. Shops, cafes, and restaurants will be prohibited from selling drinks of 150 milligrams to anyone under 16, and it'll affect drinks such as Red Bull, Monster, Relentless, and Prime Energy, and force their makers to reformulate their products. That's my problem here. I don't really want them to reformulate them. So this is the slippery slope right here, because I like my energy drinks the way they are. For the good of the kids, is it worth making me only able to get 150 milligrams? And those kind of things are silly anyway, because you just drink more of them if you really want to. Instead of drinking one, you drink two and you can get up to the number. It is unclear when sales to under 16s, including from vending machines, will become illegal. The ban will be done using secondary legislation under the Food Safety Act of 1990. Supermarkets voluntarily stopped selling the drinks to under 16s in 2018, but some smaller convenience stores still allow under 16s to buy them. Drinks containing more than 150 milligrams of caffeine per liter already carry warning labels that they are not suitable for children. High caffeine energy drinks have no place in children's hands. This is common sense, evidence-based step to protect children's physical, mental, and dental health, said Catherine Jenner. Is that Catherine or Karen Jenner? The director of Obesity Health Alliance. I got a feeling that she's a Karen. Just me. The success of preventing young people buying alcohol and cigarettes showed that age-based restrictions work, Jenner added. Age of sale policies like this have a proven record of reducing access to products that are not suitable for children. I don't think I actually agree with that statement. Kids who want to get alcohol and kids that want to get cigarettes have always found a way. Teachers had voiced concerns about how energy drinks have left young children bouncing off the walls in lesson time after consuming them on their way to school. Bridget Phillipson, the education secretary, said the move would help tackle the scourge of poor classroom behavior, which is caused in part by harmful effects of caffeine-loaded drinks. Research by the NASUWT union found 71% of teachers worry about pupils misusing energy drinks at school and 70% while elsewhere. The drinks create a situation in which pupils can't focus, can't sit still, and just think it's cool to drink them, one teacher said. Another said energy drinks make it very difficult for students to focus and engage with learning and seem to make students noisier and agitated. Matt Rack, the union's general secretary, said under 16s will still be able to get the drinks from parents or other adults despite the ban. Yeah, that's true. Dentists urged the government to go further. The ban should be extended to include zero and low sugar energy drinks to help tackle tooth decay, and the British Dental Association said. Products that are habit forming, highly acidic, and can contain over 20 teaspoons of sugar have no place on the menu for children. Eddie Crouch, the association's chair. Dr. Kauthar Hashem, a lecturer in public health and nutrition and head of the research and impact at Action on Sugar, said trading standards officers would have to enforce the ban to ensure it worked. Gavin Partington, the Director General of the British Soft Drinks Association, said firms do not market or promote drinks to under 16s. He added, our members have led the way in self-regulation through our longstanding energy drinks code of practice. Our members do not market or promote the sale of energy drinks to under 16s and label all high caffeine beverages as not recommended for children, in line with the spirit of this code. As with all government policy, it's essential that any forthcoming regulation is based on rigorous assessment of the evidence that is available. Okay, so I think I've made up my mind on this. Yeah, I've never really been for the Nanny State. I remember back when I was a kid, they came out with seatbelts, and at first a lot of people resisted it, but I was okay with seatbelts because they did make things safer, and there's lots of people in the car, and the driver is really responsible for everyone. And so I thought seatbelts was a good thing. But then they came out with these helmet laws, and I was like, well, why do we have helmet laws on motorbikes? And I've got a motorbike license, and I would never get on a motorbike without my helmet. But if somebody else chooses to do so and they fall off and hurt themselves, what does that have to do with me? I'm all for freedom of choice and letting people live their own lives as long as they're adults. And then, they went further with smoking, and I don't smoke. And my mom smoked like a chimney, like 2 packs a day for forever. So I'm not a big fan of smoking, but then they banned it in all the pubs and all the restaurants. And I thought, this is nonsense. Why are we doing this? The owner of the pub or the restaurant should get to choose. It's their pub or their restaurant is how I think about it. And you know what? If somebody doesn't like it, then they don't need to go to that pub or that restaurant. They can choose to go somewhere else. That's what I would do instead of forcing the thing. But it seems like the nanny state really just wants to force people and take control. And then if that pub or that restaurant doesn't get enough commerce, then they'll go out of business. But I think it should be a choice on a lot of this stuff. And I think it's the same thing for the energy drinks. I think that I don't want them reformulating energy drinks because it's going to impact me. Kids are still going to do it. What are they going to do? They're going to take vending machines and make you show an ID to prove your age with the Online Safety Act just so you can buy a Monster? Is that where this is going? Is that why the Prime Minister yesterday, I think, said he wanted to get a digital ID required for everyone? I think I saw that. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. So in general, no, I don't think this is a good idea. I think there's other ways to do it. And I think what the guy said at the end was good. Industry groups can just choose to not sell to teens. And teens it's just like alcohol and cigarettes. Teens will still get it if they really want it. They always find a way. Or parents will get it for them. So I just think this is, again, chipping away at people's rights. If this was cigarettes or alcohol, I would be more inclined to be for it because those have serious health issues related to them. But energy drinks. So somebody with a little more caffeine isn't sleeping as good, or they're having trouble concentrating. I don't really care about that. So I just think this is just another chipping away at our freedoms. They're saying it's for the kids, just like they did the Online Safety Act, but just like in the Online Safety Act, they started applying it to people that had anti-migrant sentiment. On this, they're going to make lower caffeine drinks. I like my high caffeine drinks. So again, I think this is government overreach. The government seems to have its priorities all out of whack. They're busy sending 5 armed police to arrest a comedian for something he said in America on the internet that in America would be protected speech, and he's not even British. And they arrested him. He's Irish. You can't make this stuff up. And they're arresting people for offending people by saying, "We love bacon" outside of a mosque. What's wrong with that? When did it become against the law to offend people in the UK? What is this? Is this Germany? Because I know it's against the law in Germany. This is crazy. There is no free speech in the UK. And so the government's worrying about stuff like this. Why aren't we spending more time on the small boat problem? Why aren't we spending more time on the migrant hotel problem? They're putting flags up everywhere in protest of all this nonsense. How many knife crimes go unsolved? How many burglaries, carjackings, assaults go unsolved? And we're worrying about energy drinks and kids? Come on, guys. The British government really needs to get its priorities back in order. It does look to me like Nigel Farage is going to be the next prime minister because the other parties just don't seem to care about real problems of real Britons. They're too worried about the things the Karens want to worry about. Fire all the Karens and stop the nanny state. Hey, if I got this wrong, let me know. Do we need to be banning energy drinks in kids? Am I completely off base with that? Perhaps, but I don't think so. And hey, if you like me, give me a like and a subscribe. If you don't like me, hey, don't watch me. Thanks. Bye.